bet it's possible.
Honey, I could be president tomorrow, too, which isn't very possible.
We don't know exactly what happened there.
I've told you 10 times. I knocked your arm out of the way before you got the shot off.
And that was the first shot.
The only shot.
No, there were 2 shots. I'm sure of it.
There was 1 shell casing on the balcony. I threw it over the edge before we left.
I don't know what happened to the other one. I don't know, but I'm sure that there were 2 shots fired from my gun. What happened to my gun, anyway?
I threw it away.
Well, if the first one missed, the second one very well may have hit her.
Look. Even if it's true, which it isn't, there's nothing you can do about it now. Will you please sit down?
I can go and tell Robert everything I know.
Forget about that.
Why?
For Anna's sake.
For Anna's sake or mine?
Look, the very best possible thing we can do is stay quiet until we find out what the police do know. We don't know if they got a case against Anna. If they think they do, what we'd have to tell them will only make things worse for her.
How?
What's Scorpio going to say when you walk in and tell him you overheard a violent argument between Olivia and Anna?
I don't know. I hadn't thought of it like that. All right. I guess maybe we'll keep quiet for now. But I'm not hiding anymore. I'm going back to Port Charles.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You should. It's been way too long. We don't want to arouse any more suspicions.
Well, I've certainly been good at that lately.
Shh, come here. Look at me. Whatever happens, I'm here.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Don't appreciate it, believe it.
I'm just worried about what Robert believes. I haven't given him much cause to trust me lately, and now this.
Evening, Tom.
Hello, Duke.
Amy said I might find you here. It's a bit late, isn't it, on your rounds?
Well, you can tell that to Simone's patient. I had to bring her in to see a child who had the nerve to spike up his fever at this late hour. Can you imagine?
Yeah, kids can be inconsiderate. Can I join you?
Please, sit down. I could use the company. So, were you looking for me?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you something. How does a miscarriage affect a woman?
Well, that's more Dr. Collins' department.
No, I mean psychologically. How does it affect her? Because it's certainly shaking the hell out of me.
Welcome to the club. I was a wreck for weeks after Simone lost our baby.
How did you deal with it?
Well, I can hardly say that our case was a textbook example. Simone took off with her mother. I buried myself deep in my work. I wouldn't recommend either approach.
Well, what would you recommend?
Well, it depends on the couple. Mostly you just try to write it out. The one critical thing is not to bury your emotions. Whatever grief, fear, helplessness you feel, it's got to be dealt with one way or another. I'm a strong believer in talking things through.
It can be different for a woman, though, kid. I mean, the depression can have a physical basis, can it?
Absolutely. We've seen solid evidence of hormonal changes in women who have undergone miscarriages. This can produce deeply disturbing psychological problems, even aberrant behavior.
Aberrant how?
If you're asking whether a woman would be driven to acts of violence after such an experience, I believe so.
Yeah.
I heard the news, Duke. There's a possibility that Anna may have shot Olivia St. John, right?
Well, it's more than just a possibility. That's why I wanted to talk to you.
You're wondering about grounds for an insanity plea?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to think of Anna that way, but if it's going to help her.
It could. But then the final decision would be up to the lawyers, a judge, maybe even a jury.
God help us if it gets that far. Anna's innocent. Am I the only person who believes that?
From Duke?
Who else? I'll hide the rose, don't worry.
No, it's the least I could do.
Just a quick note, love, to let you know I'm thinking of it every minute. I tried to get in to see you, but only medical personnel are allowed through. I pray you're okay. Try not to worry. I know you're innocent. We'll make them realize that. Whatever happens, I'm with you all the way. Take very special care. I love you. I miss you very much. Duke.
Oh, this is what it's like to be on the other side of the law. I think I'd rather be wearing a badge. I never thought you'd be guarding me.
Not me. Not in a million years.
Oh, well.
I learned a lot from you, Anna.
Oh. I remember when you and Frisco first joined the force.
I was such a disaster.
Well, Frisco was worse. I thought that the guy was going to throw him out of the academy before he even got a chance to walk a beat. I wish he was here now. Befitting in a way. To come full circle like this.
I thought you'd want to know. The surgery's over.
Oh. How's Olivia?
She's hanging in there, but just barely.
Don't. Please keep any comments that you have about Olivia to yourself. For your own protection.
What have we got? We got shell casings, we got a slug, we got an earring.
All evidence against Anna.
I want concrete evidence at this point. That's all I'm interested in, rather than personal opinion. Unless, of course, you want to hazard an explanation.
You know, I saw what we both saw. But I also know that what sometimes seems to be is not necessarily true, okay?
You're a big help.
All right, you know, the lab will give you some answers on the bullets and the gun and all that, but I'll tell you something. That earring might turn out to be completely useless to us.
Right. It's either it's Anna's, or it's Olivia's, or it's the past occupant of that suite.
Thanks. I'll tell you something else, though. It's not going to tell us anything we don't already know.
I don't care. I want it checked anyway, just to be sure.
All right. Cover all the bases. That's your job, right?
Right. Okay. Starting to get some results, but I'm not sure they'll do us any good.
What do you got?
Report on the gun. It's unregistered. We don't know who bought it, where, when, or anything else that'll tie it to anybody.
Oh, come on. Why would Anna go and use a weapon like that? Why wouldn't she use her own gun?
Maybe she didn't want it traced.
You know, I'm having difficulties believing she even tried to kill Olivia without trying to believe that it was premeditated, too.
Listen, we've got to check out all the angles here, no matter how unpalatable they might be.
All right, Robert, I know the routine, but I'm telling you, my instincts are fighting me every inch of the way.
Instincts or feelings?
Okay, so where do we go from here?
First thing in the morning, I'm going to have a talk with Anna. And believe me, she's going to have a hell of a job explaining her way out of this one.
I wish there was something the family could watch together.
How you doing, Doc?
How's Olivia?
Her condition hasn't changed. Damn it. Hey, she's alive.
You're on a life support system.
Look, we did all we could for her. Now we sit and wait.
Did you talk to Monica?
Just
No, she's very concerned about possible complications. Hemorrhaging, blood clots. There could be problems with Olivia's heart.
Thanks to me. Boy, I really helped that patient, didn't I, you know? She'd better before they brought her in.
Don't be ridiculous. Look, Monica's sticking around, so Tony, go home, get some rest.
I can't sleep. All I can do is think about that operation. I mean, I botched the surgery. If I hadn't have blanked out, Olivia would have had a chance.
That's not true. Now, come on, you said yourself it was far too dangerous to try to remove that
By
blood.
the time I completed the procedure, if I hadn't wasted the vital minutes, I could have easily gotten it out, and she would have had a chance.
Tony, you're being much too hard on yourself.
I blew it in the middle of an operation. I'm lucky I didn't kill her.
Your slight laughs had absolutely nothing to do with the outcome.
Appreciate what you're trying to do, but I committed a serious breach. I shouldn't have been in the operating room tonight. Maybe I shouldn't pick up the scalpel again.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Doesn't matter. It's Steve's decision anyway.
Why Steve's?
Because I'm going to report myself tomorrow morning.
How many times are we going to go over this stuff?
As many times as is necessary. Come in.
The lab just phoned, Commissioner. They finished the print work on the gun. The only ones they can find belong to Mrs. Lavery.
Oh, that cinches it. We've got enough, more than enough now to arrest Anna.
Nobody's
Want me to
arresting
do it?
anybody.
Huh?
Nobody is arresting anybody just yet. I want to wait till that slug is recovered out of Olivia's body. We do a ballistics check, and if we get a match up, well, I'll arrest her myself.
So, Guy,
Yeah.
what'd we miss when you busted the mob party?
Oh, you missed a big party. You should have seen the mob bosses' faces. They thought it was part of a joke, I guess, still connected with the birthday celebration.
Oh, police business can be fun, huh?
Yeah, sometimes. Listen, Victor's mistress, she kept screaming, "You're killing him! You're killing him!"
What sort of shape's he in?
He's okay. The doctor in prison said that he can stay there overnight and then he can go to his arraignment tomorrow.
Yeah, then the Shoyster lawyer shows up, gets he and his cronies out on bail before the judge can sit behind the bench.
It's okay. Let them enjoy their freedom. We have enough evidence for a solid case against most, if not all, of the mob bosses.
Well, we've had a lot of good incriminating conversations from our waiters and waitresses with their microphones.
And the video in the meeting room, right?
Yeah, they were discussing an encyclopedia
Oh,
of
thanks.
felonies from murder to loan sharking and everything in between, before and after, I'm telling you. They might as well have had neon signs around their necks saying, "I'm guilty, I'm guilty."
Not to mention the records that Anna recovered with the help of Fran Woods.
Now, if the DA can't make a case out of this, he's never going to.
Yeah. Well, that part of the evening was an unqualified success. The rest, an unmitigated disaster. Scorpio.
Robert, this is Monica Quartermain.
Am I glad to hear from you?
Well, I'm not so sure that you're going to be after I tell you the news. And listen, by the way, I am sorry for not getting back to you sooner. It's been really touch and go ever since they brought Olivia in.
So what's the story?
I don't really know exactly where to begin.
Did you pull a bullet from the body?
We tried, yes, but Tony couldn't do that. He felt it was too risky. It's lodged right near her spine.
How many times was she hit?
Twice. The first one, it passed all the way through her, and it ended up rupturing a mammary artery right near her heart. She could have bled to death, and by the time we got around to going after the second bullet... Olivia just is too weak to withstand any more for surgery.
How is she now?
I'm afraid that's the bad news.
You mean it gets worse?
Well, she woke from the surgery. She was fine. It looked like she was recovering very nicely, and then she just, she lapsed into a coma.
Oh, no.
Well, you can imagine how we felt.
What's the prognosis?
Well, it's not good. There's no telling when or even if Olivia will regain consciousness.